Halftime with Shiner on top of Stamford, 21-7, as the band performing down, entertaining the folks here at the stadium. A couple of the cheerleaders actually involved in the Shiner High School band. There you see them, and kind of a festive thing in 1A football, everyone being a part of it, Shea Walker, and a very entertaining first half as well.
Well, no doubt. It's an all-hands-on-deck call when you're in Class 1A and you have the band and everybody gets a chance to participate. But, hey, what a great first half. And how about that Shiner defense? Played outstanding. Well,
it was a lightning strike to start as Stamford got up early, but then came the Shiner offense. And we told you it was going to be on the ground. It was engineered by Jacob Stafford, and away they went.
Well, they did it. You look at the tough physical runs. Again, one of the strongest guys on this team. How about the little touchdown pass to Caleb Morelli? Comes up with a big score there. And then Jacob Stafford good on the ground. He's going to get a great block there by Marcus Washington, and the punishing ground attack by the Comanches, dominating the first half.
Marcus Coleman already over the century mark with the running game.
Well, and he hits his 53-yard touchdown to tie the score at 7. And he has really been a dominating performance, and most of it has been over on that left side of that offensive line, doing a great job of creating space and seams, and the power running game, again, working extremely well for Shiner.
So in the intermission, Shiner with a 21-7 lead. Let's take a look at the Ford stat board. Reveals that Shiner certainly taking the rushing category. That's not a surprise there. Almost 250 yards on the ground in the first half.
Well, and you think about, again, go back to the defensive effort by the Comanches. In the playoffs, Chuck, through their 5-game run, they're allowing about 11 points a game. And they're very stingy. And after getting hit for that first touchdown play of 63 yards to James Washington, they've really held this Bulldog offense in check.
Send it down to the field where Angela is with the head coach of the Stamford Bulldogs, Wayne Hutchinson.
Well, guys, I actually spoke to Stamford head coach Wayne Hutchinson as he was coming out of the locker room. I asked him simply, what will it take to stop Shiner's run game in the second half? He said, that's easy. We just have to be tougher in the trenches and tackle. He also says that they cannot let Shiner control the clock like they did in the first half. They had the ball way too much. They need to make some 3-and-outs and make Shiner get rid of the ball. I also asked him about Bo Wimberly. He said he's fine. He will play in the second half. But Coach Hutchinson was smiling, and he seems to be in pretty good spirits going into the second half. He has all the faith in the world in his team.
Thank you very much, Angela. You know, one of those Ford stats that I wanted to point out, 17 minutes, 58 seconds time of possession for Shiner, only 6 minutes, 2 seconds for Stamford. That could come into play as we get late into this ball game. Shiner with a short kick, and then the onside. It's taken by the Comanches. They caught everybody napping as Brian Clazel comes up with a recovery and Shiner with a football.
Well, Chuck, I don't think this is a design onside kick. It's just that low liner, and it's going to hit the Stamford return guy and bounce right back into the arms of Clazel.
It's like a pinball.
Yeah.
So the Shiner offense back out on the field, and they're going to start to lean now. You know, even though we're early in the second half, in fact, just getting it started, but they're going to start trying to lean on the Stamford team and use that beef up front as a handoff on first down goes for 7 yards. Marcus Coleman as the tackle made by Craig Oliver. But what a start to the second half is Shiner. As you said, Shea, it wasn't an onside kick.
Well, it wasn't a traditional onside kick because the way it looked is almost like they may have scouted that out a little bit. They say if we drive the ball hard and low into it, and, you know, we may have a chance on the recovery. So, but not, again, it's very unconventional if it was an onside kick, but perfectly executed.
Second down, 4.
You know, coach is going to claim it was an onside kick. It was a gutsy call.
First down on the handoff to Marcus Coleman as he gets 7 yards. That'll put him up to 125 yards in the game. The quarterback, Stafford, is near 100 yards himself as he has 91 so far. Let's take another look at that onside kick.
Again, it was just drilled down into the legs of that front line. Joey Aguilar bounced off of him right back into the hands of Clazel.
Thank you very much. And the offense on the field. So now to the 38-yard line. Deep handoff goes to Neubauer, and he is met by the front of that Stamford defense, although he managed to struggle forward for 3 yards. McLemore and Wimberly each on the stop.
Chuck, Marcus Coleman is not well. I mean, he is hobbling around. The play before he gets tackled, and look at the end of the play. I think it's Bo Wimberly, but he's going to fall back. He's going to run around up here, you're right. Take a look as he gets pulled backwards. See him holding that right ankle. He is very gingerly. He did not even, could barely get out and try to throw a block on that last offensive play.
2nd down, 7. Opening drive of the second half. There's Coleman.
He cannot run.
Well, he's hop along, but he got about 5 yards on the play. Sanchez on the tackle, gain of 5. Let's take one more look at that injury just a moment ago.
Gets pulled down from behind. And then Bo Wimberly over the top, and you see immediately he fell awkwardly, goes down and kind of grabbed that right leg. It was 2 plays ago. And how about this on the hop along around that left side again, go figure, picks up 7 yards on 2nd down.
Well, he has now left the field as they've got Tyler Patek now in the backfield alongside Neubauer. Stafford follows the block inside the 25, gets down to the 23-yard line, a gain of 7 as Sanchez, Wimberly, and Aguilar on the stop. Taking a look at Coleman, and you know it is state championship game, and I mean anything short of a broken bone, he's going to be out there in a minute.
You feel like it. I mean, you could see that he was giving his all. He just could not go on that right ankle.
Toughness of these players at this level. Again, in 5A and 4A and on down the ladder, you have so much more depth. You don't have guys that have to go out there and be warriors. You see it here at this level, and certainly with Coleman and even Wimberly in the first half, he was injured. With Patek inside the 20. A gain of about 4. Taking a look at his ankle. So the training staff going to put the eye to Coleman and try to see if he is going to be able to come back out on the field. Now, I wonder if this is like, you know, in the NHL, they always say don't take off the boot, because once you do that, the swelling happens, and you're not going to get it back on. I wonder if that's the case here.
If you take off the boot, you will definitely see it heavily wrapped.
Great camera work there. It's almost like being right there in the sidelines with him. 2nd down and 6.
And Jacob Stafford, just a bull as he is running through the interior of the defense there.
7 more yards and another 1st down. As we talked about in the outset of this drive, it's just going to be a matter now of them leaning on Stamford.
But right now, the Bulldogs defense, Chuck, they're not giving up big plays, but and I'm calling big plays like a +10 play. They're giving up 4, 6, 8 yards, 7 yards, and that's really what's the Shiner offense just continues to kind of pound the ball down. And hey, there's a flag on the play. It's the first one today, I think. No, we had some offsides earlier.
That's right, one each way. Neubauer jammed up right there, and we'll have the call against Shiner. We told you earlier, Stamford in Jones County for the most part. A little trickle of it in Haskell County. Shiner is in Lavaca County, town of about 2,100.
Holding, offense, number 7, 10-yard penalty. Still 1st down.
The motto as you drive into Shiner, the cleanest little city in Texas. And I asked one of the townspeople there, I said, now is that true, or is that just a little media hype, a little promotion? They said, nope, it's true.
Something from the crosstown rival. But not. It is true, huh?
1st down and 20 for the penalty. Will reverse. Here's Taylor. Adrian Taylor inside the 10. He will score. 22 yards on the touchdown run for Adrian Taylor, a freshman. And Shiner extends its lead to 27-7.
Well, Coach Sherney said this week, I've got a freshman who has some really big upside. His name is Adrian Taylor. Neubauer with the handoff on the reverse. And how about the open field speed eluding a couple of defenders, going through an arm tackle at the end, and 150-pound freshman puts points on the board for the Comanches.
He got to the corner. Point after. A great penetration, but it is good.
Yeah, how did James Washington miss that one?
Now let's take it to break. 7:35 to go. First half, 28-7 Shiner. Now a special message from Dairy Queen.
I'm sure you're enjoying these Texas High School Football Championship games.
Visit texas.statefarm.com to get to a better state. By DQ, for the best tasting treats, eats, and drinks in Texas. DQ just tastes better. By your local Texas Ford dealers, enjoy year-end savings during the Dream Big Texas sales event. Ford, the best in Texas. And by the new Wrangler Premium Performance Advanced Comfort Jeans, available at Cavenders and Cavenders.com. 28-7, Shiner on top of Stamford. Remember, the Bulldogs led this game 7-0 after the first offensive play, but after that, Shiner has taken control of this ball game as we reach down near the midway point of the third quarter, Shea.
Well, you think about it, Chuck, and really the momentum shift coming out. You're expecting to get the ball if you're the Bulldogs. The onside kick and the recovery by the Comanches, and then they march it down the field and score. And so you got to dig deep right now if you're Stamford and get yourself back in this game.
Squib kick picked up by Gus West, and he will bring it back out near the 40-yard line. So it'll be great field position. Let's check back down to the field with Angela. She's got an injury update.
That's right, guys. I just spoke to Dr. Bishop. He is on the sidelines with the Shiner Comanches. He told me that Marcus Coleman sprained his right ankle. They taped it up. It's feeling stronger, and he's obviously going to go back in the game.
Here you see the play that he was injured. He's got to roll that ankle up. And I guess he got the boot back on. Be back in soon. 1st and 10 for Stamford. Good running room for Hutchison after he hauls in the pass from Wimberly. It'll go for 8 yards. It's a way to start the drive for Stamford. Right now, really, Shea, the Bulldogs just have to get their feet underneath them, forget about the scoreboard, and just try to start moving the football a little bit.
Yep, positive plays, get the offense back in rhythm, and I think the way that they're going to do that is what we just saw is the quick passing game. And because this Shiner defense has been able to get pressure with 4 guys and play great coverage with the back 7. For Stamford, they're going to have to strike quickly in the short to intermediate passing game.
That's exactly what they do there. Wimberly to West. That's a first down in Shiner territory down to the 42-yard line. That's a pickup on the play of 9. As Bo Wimberly off to 9 for 19 in the ball game. 134 yards, 1 interception, and a touchdown.
You can still see there's double coverage downfield on James Washington, and Wimberly not even looking his way.
Yeah, he overthrew that one. Well, Wimberly, a great story. I guess once you get to the bottom line of all that he has overcome, he actually is a Taekwondo black belt.
Yeah.
His father was an instructor. He lost his dad to cancer early in the year. They were very close. And he is carrying on. Basically, that's his
fantastic
drive.
story. You're
right. Yes. Here's a swing pass. Hutchison looking for running room. Shakes a tackle and another. Inside the 20. Down to the, just inside that point to the 19. It's a gain of 22 yards on the play and the first down as it was Stafford on the stop. There's the shot of Bo Wimberly and his dad, Gary. And again, they were just about inseparable. Chip off the old block, and Wimberly really carrying on here. His dad's honor. Starts right, comes back left. What a move inside the 10. And he will be bumped out of bounds a yard short of the goal line by Ernie Egan. So Wimberly picks up a gain of 19. Remember, he was injured early in this game. Now look at him move.
Well, if you think about this too, Chuck, this is the second time that we have seen him cut back across the grain. And you know Coach Hutchinson is encouraging him to do that versus throw it back across the grain. But a couple of times that he's run all the way to the right and then back left has been very successful, and he's going to punch this one in for a score.
On the move goes Wimberly into the end zone, and Stamford for the first time since their first offensive snap of the game on the board with a touchdown. And they cut it to 28-13. Very impressive drive there by the Bulldogs. Well, and Bo Wimberly Again, we talked about both he and Stafford playing both sides of the football, but what a warrior he's been today. As James Washington on for the point after. Straight ahead kick. Punches that one up and through. Timeout on the field. 6:48 to go, third quarter. A touchdown for each side. Wimberly in for 6 here, and it's 28-14. Shiner on top.
Who's been playing an awful lot of snaps in today's game?
Well, it's interesting to see the way Stamford got right back up off the deck there. It looked like after that onside kick recovery by Shiner in the touchdown that the Comanches had put in a hammerlock on this game. You see the bluff on the kickoff. The conventional way now. But anyway, Stamford gets the ball back and drives right down the field. Very impressive drive. Kick's going to go down to the 20. And Neubauer brings it back out. Across the 35 to the 36, maybe the 37. Let's head down to the sidelines. Angela, speaking of Stamford, has a guy that those fans are accustomed to. Hagen Hutchinson. Angela?
That's right, Hagen Hutchinson. He was the offensive and defensive MVP of the 1A D1 state championship team last year when Stamford played. Hagen, I see you over here on the sidelines. You're kind of oohing and ahhing with every play, and it looks like you're almost playing with him. What's it like to be here watching?
It's awesome. I miss it. I'm just here supporting them. I don't know. I wouldn't rather be anywhere else than here. I love watching these guys play. A lot of my brothers still are. My little brother is out here doing a good job too, so I'm super pumped watching him play.
Yeah, your little brother Wes just made a big play. Now, I know you and Bo Wimberly are great friends. What did you say to him before this game?
I just told him, good luck, you know what you're doing. Just get out there and get it done. I have faith in him. He's awesome. I mean, if I wouldn't, he's just replaced me it's just smooth as it can ever be, just like I was in there.
Well, it's big shoes to fill, but Bo obviously has done a great job. And then tell me about playing for your dad for all those years and what it meant to him when you guys won last year.
I don't know. It was special. It was awesome. I don't know any different than being him coaching me. I don't know.
And you're at Midwestern, I know, this year. You were able to redshirt, so you have 4 more years to play with them. So what's it like playing college ball? How's it different?
It's a little different. It's a lot bigger guys. They're faster, quicker. It's a little tougher, just to be honest. But I'm getting the hang of it. I'm looking to play a lot next year.
Well, according to your dad, he said that you're doing really well in college as well. I'm sure you are. You were a great high school football player. We really appreciate your time. I know you want to get back out there and watch the Stamford Bulldogs.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Guys, back up to you.
Thank you very much, Angela. Boy, Hagen Hutchinson looking like he could, get right out there now and run this offense. Although Wimberly's doing a heck of a job. Now the defense, which has Wimberly and a lot of his friends stopping Shiner on 3rd down and 8. And they're going to be forcing a punt from the Comanches, so that's exactly what the Bulldogs needed as Carrion and Aguilar both in on that tackle.
Well, a lot of emotion there by Gabriel Carrion. As you see, he drives through the blocker. Not only does he drive through the blocker, but he outstretches that right arm and is able to pull down the running back. And you can see him right there. He knows he made a big play for that defense.
So a punt. This is something that we haven't seen just a whole heck of a lot of today.
You got James Washington back to receive this kick.
Mraz foot into it. Yep, it's a good punt down inside the 20. Washington gets
Special teams play.
taken down by who? The freshman, Dadrian Taylor. 42 yards on the punt, a loss of 5 on the return, and Stamford with 4:33 to go. They're in quarter number 3, going to get the football back, but they're going to have to drive the length of the field and try to cut into Shiner's 14-point advantage. Look at the catch. Are you kidding me?
Keep in mind, this is on a punt. I mean, oh, man.
He's committed.
That's Jackie Robinson looking stuff.
Yeah, committed to play at Oklahoma State in the Big 12. So he's already got major college moves right there. As the pass overthrown on 1st down, incomplete. They were looking for Hutchinson. Yeah, I told you about the Texas Cowboy reunion earlier.
You did.
You know how that started? That's back in 1930. They just had a few folks went out in a little depression, and I don't mean the Great Depression, but a little depression. Folks set up kind of on the side and watched it. And the Cowboys put on a show there in the 30s. Well, by 33, they had 15 to 20,000 folks that came and watched it. as the pass over the middle incomplete. It's the world's largest amateur rodeo. Now, this is in Stamford. It goes on July 4th week. And they draw cowboys from all over the country, from Canada, even from Brazil down in South America.
That needs to make my list. I would enjoy that.
That's a go-to event.
Absolutely.
And the mayor out there, Johnny Anders, said that there's a lot in common, speaking of this rodeo event that Stamford and Shiner had. He said all the cowboys do all they can to support Shiner's economy.
Fantastic. I like that, too.
Tongue-in-cheek with the main business at Shiner. It's a pass over the middle. It's deflected twice and incomplete.
Well, Wes Hutchinson, intended receiver. Once it skimmed off his hands, it bounced off another couple of guys. Washington may have had a chance to catch that, but again, this Shiner defense, Chuck, able to get enough, I'm going to call it adequate pressure on Bo Wimberly, and yet drop 7 guys back. So they've got good zone defense. We'll get a penalty flag here, but they're playing really good zone defense behind that front 4.
Get the call from our referee.
False start, number 55, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
A little bit of field position there. Is now 4th and 10 from the 15, becomes 4th and 15 from the 10.
Well, you talk about this defense again for the Comanches. They have to punt the ball away, and then they go They go 3 and out to get their offense back on the field with good starting field position near their own 40-yard line.
Wimberly punt rolls all the way to the 40. That turns out to be a 50-yard kick. And Shiner will take over the football with 3:58 to go here in the 3rd quarter, and the Comanches nursing a 28-14 lead. Well, this is the first of 4 games to be played today at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, the Class 1A Division I championship game. Coming up next, Wellington and Falls City. That's Class 1A Division II. And then we'll have the 2A action coming up a bit later in the day. All through the afternoon. 4 games today, 3 tomorrow, and 3 on Saturday. State championship weekend brought to you by State Farm. Here at AT&T Stadium as the UIL crowns 10 champions by the time we're done Saturday night. There's that reverse again. Here's contact, and this time he stopped for a loss of a yard. Great defense, snipped it out, Jay.
And Bo Wimberly is the guy chasing it down. He and Ty McLemore. Fooled me once, not going to fool me twice.
Well, let's take a look at the replay. As again, it starts out to the right and back it comes. But Wimberly with some help from Nathan Fernandez.
Yeah. I gave McLemore the attaboy. That was Fernandez, as you said, in on the tackle.
So Shiner behind the chains after that first down loss of a yard. Stamford trying to turn the momentum. It was all Shiner, particularly early in this 3rd quarter, that early touchdown. But here's Coleman. Outside the 45, gets probably about 7, maybe 8 yards with Wimberly and West on the tackle. But I told you, Marcus Coleman was not going to be on the sidelines long, and he's not.
Well, the left side of that offensive line for the Comanches has just been outstanding. Dylan Kalina there leading the way for Marcus Coleman. And I can tell you, he's still a little gimpy. He's not at 100% right now, but you said short of broken bones, you're going to play in the state championship game.
Pain is for tomorrow, my friend.
That's a gutsy performance.
Here we've got a 3rd down. They need to get to the 50-yard line. You see 2 guys already over the century mark for Shiner. As Coleman will get the first down. The 48 pickup of about 4 on the play, and you're absolutely right. You can tell that he's really pushing through the injury.
Yeah, he's gutting it out. But again, that left side of the offensive line, creating enough space, enough seams. Coleman, not a real big back, 170-pound junior, but he is a strong guy.
You see that the logo there on the Shiner helmet. It's familiar to the townsfolk. Of course, it's no secret. Big employer there, the Spetzel Brewery. There's also Bedecker Plastics, Casper Wireworks. It's not just a one-horse town.
The bobble.
He did have
able to hang on to it?
Yeah, he did. Stopped for a gain of 1.
That ball popped up. Take another look at this. Right at the handoff. Doesn't field it cleanly, but has the presence of mind to bring it down while he's being tackled by Ty McLemore.
He still gets about a half yard, maybe more. Again, Shiner, a predominantly Czech and German ethnicity in the city. Good people. I mean, talking to folks from both these cities, and they both just hands down greatness. There's a little bit of a misconnection there in the backfield. There'll be a gain, nonetheless, of a couple of yards down inside the 46. Ty McLemore in on the stop for the Bulldogs on Chad Neubauer.
Well, that was another, I'll call it, very high-risk handoff. Like Jacob Stafford either didn't field it cleanly or kind of had a little bit of confusion in the backfield with Marcus Coleman and Neubauer. Neubauer ends up with it, picks up about 2.5 yards, so back to that 3rd and long.
Each team with a touchdown here in the second half. Shiner with the football and the 2-score lead. This is a big 3rd down. So we're down on the final half minute of the 3rd quarter. And the toss to Neubauer, looking for room, and he'll be stopped short the 1st down as he gets 4 on the play. But he needed to get down to the 38.
You got to believe Shiner will be quite content to move on into the 4th quarter.
Yep, that's what they do, eat the clock. Run after run after run. They have now enjoyed a 24.5-minute time of possession compared to less than 7.5 minutes for Stamford. And they are going to let the clock run out, and we're going to be headed to the 4th quarter. 12 minutes to go before we name the state champion. It'll be crowned here at AT&T Stadium, Class 1A Division I. We head to the 4th quarter. Coming next, it's Shiner 28, Stamford 14. More coming up in a moment on Fox Sports Southwest. On hand here at AT&T Stadium. Not sure about that beard, Shay.
It's close enough, though. The cap kind of gives him away.
He's happy. 28-14, yeah. Shiner on top. Take a look at the total yards through 3 quarters. Shiner Comanches 334. Total yards 206 for the Stamford Bulldogs.
You know what? It's not including that stat, Chuck, is Stamford has only run 32 offensive plays to Shiner's 56.
Could be a difference as we get in the 4th quarter. The left-handed pass almost picked up. Ty McLemore, the middle linebacker, almost stole that from Stafford.
Well, he tried to go with that quick pass again over the right side and really threw it right at Ty McLemore. Made a good effort, just not able to come down with the interception.
Wow. So on 4th down, the ball turned over to Stamford. And now the Bulldogs.
Just going to say, Chuck, James Washington at the top of the screen is the same play, the same formation where he scored on the first play of the game.
Let's see if they go to it. Nope, this is going to be a double pass. Well, maybe not. They sniffed it out, so just keeping and running is Wes Hutchinson as he will get positive yardage about 5 out to the 46. They were looking for that double pass.
Yeah, they were. And it's interesting to see this sophomore, Wes Hutchinson, lower his shoulder, run over a guy at the end trying to pick up some extra yards. First, he sees it's not there, and he makes the correct decision, and he makes it quickly.
Got a little swing pass, a little screen action, and will be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Again, Hutchison on the receiving end. He gets a yard on the play.
Nathan Schneider and Dylan Kalina in on the stop. I tell you what, this Comanche defense has been impressive all game.
Well, here, friends, is a big 3rd down. Early in the 4th quarter, Stamford needing points, down by 2 touchdowns. And they can't really afford a 3-and-out here after stopping Shiner on 4th down near midfield. Wimberly looking for room. Good blocking. And he'll get the 1st down and more. Inside the 30. Still going. And he's going to score on a 53-yard run. Bo Wimberly with a Houdini act to get into the open as he broke 2 tackles and danced all the way into the end zone.
Great job there by Wimberly, showing you the prowess on his feet. Over 1,500 yards coming into the game, and there's nothing doing on the right side. He cuts it back across the grain again, gives up some yards, and then look, you think he's got enough for the 1st down, and that's all it's going to be. But as you said, runs through some arm tackles, tight ropes down the sideline, weaves his way into the end zone.
James Washington tacks on the point after. This one getting interesting. The 53-yard TD run by Bo Wimberly will take us to break. 10:39 to go in the fourth quarter. Shiner's lead trimmed to 7. It's 28-21.
In the Thursday late game, it's a rematch of the 2011 2A Division II Final. Cisco and one of the most explosive offenses on earth, the Refugio Bobcats, who are led by the most decorated quarterback in the state of Texas. Travis Quintanilla holds almost every passing record in the state, and now he goes for his second ring in 3 years. Join us Thursday night at 8 for the 2A showdown between Refugio and Cisco, live at AT&T Stadium on Fox Sports Southwest.
It's easy to get crotchety when you drive an old car you hate.
Say car humbug and dump that old sled. Hey, Scott L.
The UIL Texas State Football Championship is brought to you by State Farm. Visit texas.statefarm.com to get to a better state. By DQ. For the best tasting treats, eats, and drinks in Texas, DQ just tastes better. By your local Ford dealers. Enjoy year-end savings during the Dream Big sales event. Ford is the best in Texas. And by the new Wrangler Premium Performance Advanced Comfort Jeans, available at Cavenders and Cavenders.com. 28-21. Shiner has seen its lead trimmed to 7. Back-to-back touchdowns by Stamford, including a gallop just a moment ago by quarterback Bo Wimberly. It looked like he was going to be stopped for a short gain. Next thing you know, he was standing in the end zone, Shay.
Well, you know, the other thing that I noticed on that run, Chuck, and after this great touchdown run on 3rd down, to get his team back into contention within one score, you usually see a guy celebrating in the end zone. Bo Wimberly's gassed. He was tired.
Comes into play here, the 1A level. A whole set of reserves you see in the upper classifications. That kickoff brought back down to the 30-yard line by Ernie Egan. We'll now head down to the sidelines, and Angela with a special guest.
Yeah, that's right, Chuck. This is Zay Smith. He is a running back and linebacker for the Stamford Bulldogs. In the playoff game against Sundown, he planted one of his legs. When he planted, his patella tendon snapped part of his tibia off, and then when he got hit, he fractured his other tibia. So Coach Hutchinson told me about that. So Zay, I know Coach Hutchinson said that he's so excited to have you on the sidelines. What's it like to be here supporting your team? I know you don't get to play, but you're getting to be here with all the action going on.
It's kind of tough, but I still have to stay positive and help my team out and cheer them on. I have faith in them, and hopefully they bring it home today.
Well, they just cut it to within 7 points after being down by 14. What do you think they're going to need to do in the rest of this fourth quarter?
Well, we have to keep wrapping up and keep executing.
And I know that one of the West brothers is wearing your jersey today. He normally wears number 20. He's wearing number 8. That's your number. On the back of your chair here, you have Super 8. What does it mean to you that they decided to do that for you and wear your jersey?
It means a lot that I can't play, but he's still out there wearing my jersey, get my number out there. It shows he's a good friend, good teammate, like a brother.
Well, that League and West, good for him for doing that. And I know your team misses you, but they're glad to have you on the sidelines.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, guys, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Angela. Zay Smith, 312 yards. He averaged, Shay, just short of 8 yards per carry. A couple of touchdowns this year. Big loss for Stamford, but they're trying to fill in without him throughout the course of the playoffs, particularly today. A couple of running plays for Shiner. Getting 7 yards, and now a big 3rd down and 3 from the Comanche 37-yard line.
Yeah, going back to Zay Smith for just a moment, you talked about his running game, which he was outstanding, but he was also an equally good linebacker. Craig Oliver has stepped up in that role for the Bulldogs.
Well, right before they snapped the play.
Timeout, Shiner.
A timeout called. With 9:12 to go here in the fourth quarter, and Shiner on top 28-21. This is a critical play right here, Mr. Walker.
No doubt about it. I mean, listen, they've been knocking out these 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5s all game long, largely on the legs of Marcus Coleman. But when he's not at 100% and you're at the critical juncture in the game, I think it's wise for Coach Shirley to call a timeout get things figured out, make sure you got the right play call.
Of course, with 1A football, you're talking about smaller towns. Stamford, located up north of Abilene, about 40 miles north of Abilene, a town of right around 3,600. Shiner on that corridor between Houston and San Antonio, town of about 2,100. How small are the towns? Well, Shiner is a one-stoplight town.
One stoplight town.
And I was told when they put it in that it became a spectator sport. Really? Just to kind of watch what was going on. Now, Stamford has two, I was told by the mayor, Johnny Anders. And he said, actually, the stoplight, it's not the law. It is just a suggestion.
Well, I'm thinking that Stamford just outdid them. They probably added the second light after they figured they were tied.
A big third down and the quarterback keep. Stafford is going to be stopped right at the line to gain. They're going to have to take a look at this one, Shay.
It looks like where the line judge coming in from our side, he is going to be short, but just by the nose of the ball. We'll see if we get a measurement or not. No, it's fourth down. But it's,
what do you do?
That's why we're in the booth. Because you know it's just a, you don't even need 6 inches.
Well, we talked about how gritty these teams are, and this right here is the epitome of what we see. State championship game, 8.5 minutes to go, fourth quarter, and a fourth and inches on your own side of the 50.
Your own side of the field, and let's see now if Coach Hutchinson is going to burn a timeout now. How about the chess match between the coaches here?
Absolutely. Well, all the chips are on the table right now, and Stamford wanting to take a look at it with 8:23 remaining. You know, Shiner had all the momentum. If you're just joining us, it was 21-7 at the half, and with an onside kick, although it was more of a direct kick that happened to hit one of the guys up front. We'll call it an onside kick. It was recovered by Shiner, and then they marched it right into the end zone, made it 28-7. But since then, Stamford has kind of regained itself, put 2 more touchdowns on the board, and that puts us to where we are now at 28-21. So the game is back in the balance.
Well, and really from a rally standpoint, if you think about what Stamford has done after going down 3 scores. Last year against Martin, Chuck, they were down 2 scores in the fourth quarter. And Hagan Hutchinson put on the Superman cape, kind of led the Bulldogs to a late score that he ran in. I think it was just, probably under a minute to play. And then he comes up with a huge interception in that game to kind of seal the victory. But that was a heroic play there, and somebody for the Bulldogs needs to step up.
Well, they're going to go for it with that double tight end formation. A whole lot of beef up front, and they'll sneak it ahead, and they've got the first down.
Didn't need much, didn't get much. But it's enough to move the chain.
Jacob Stafford again started the day just under 1,200 yards today. He has amassed 110 yards on the ground. As we see that push up front, and he got across the 40-yard line. They'll mark it to the 41 with that forward progress.
Well, the initial surge by the Comanche offensive line, even though they got pushed back at the end of the play, it was enough to get the first down. Just a gutsy call there by Stephen Sherney.
And every first down means a couple of minutes going off the clock, at least. There's Stafford. Straight keep for a couple to the 43. Tackle made by Oliver and McLemore, both in there for the Stamford Bulldogs.
Tanner Vance also getting up off the bottom of the pile. 6'2", 260-pound junior.
So now in that 25-second clock, you don't want to hurry if you're Shiner. They let most of that milk off even before the snap. Snap at the 7 on the play clock. And Coleman, his ankle's taken out from under him as he crossed the 45 out to the 47, gain of about 5 yards. Maybe got the 48 as well as Bo Wimberly on that tackle for Stamford.
They hits it quickly there. Getting good blocking up front. Tanner pitch. Dylan Polina. Really impressed with the way that those guys have created space and seams, running lanes.
Polina, Peach, Murkowski, Schneider, Kneifel. Big fellas up front helping to clear the way. Stafford on another big third down. Keeps it, and he's short again. Trying to get the first down on third. He's going to come up just short of the yard to gain as Aguilar on the stop. So guess what, Shea? Another fourth down, now at midfield.
But this one is a touch longer than the last fourth down that they had. But you have to figure Jacob Stafford is your guy. He's your bell cow. Don't want to risk handing the ball off deep or anything like that. So expect to see the quarterback see. This just kind of gets down to mano a mano time.
This is Shiner's fifth fourth down try of the ball game. They converted 2 of the previous 4. 4th and 1. Stafford's got it as he gets inside the 49 to the 48. 2 more yards. And Shea, you talked about it earlier. This offense is not 10s and 15s and 20s. It's 4 and 6 and 2 first down. It's 5 and 3 and 3 first down. And that clock just keeps moving.
Yeah, it's just grinded out ball. And you talked about it at the outset as well. Look, what they do is they run. And then when they're tired of running, they run. When they don't feel like running again, they run.
Those big fellas up front leading the way. And again, a double tight end set. So the 5 traditional blockers with 2 more. The toss to Neubauer, and he gets jammed up right at the line of scrimmage. Bo Wimberly came in. No gain on the play.
Really impressed with Wimberly's toughness in this game. No, he's hurting. Just like we see Marcus Coleman playing with the nicked ankle. He's got that shoulder pop in and out. Or out and in, I guess.
Timeout called by Stamford with 5:19 remaining. And again, this is, I'm sure, Shea, one of these products of 1A football. You call the timeout not so much for strategy. It's to give your defense a little bit of a blow. They need help right now.
It's a great point. And you can see a lot of guys down getting some water and refreshing a little bit. It's kind of dig in time. It's time to resend that message.
See the total yards there still in favor of Shiner, but in the second half, Stamford actually with the advantage in yards gained. Shiner has 21 first downs in the ball game, 9 for Stamford. But again, the time of possession is just absolutely heavily in favor of Shiner. They've had the ball for 34 minutes of this game, just under 9 minutes. Stamford has had the football.
Well, when you have the play disparity that we talked about, not just the time of possession, but the play disparity, 56 for Shiner after 3 quarters, only 32 for the Bulldogs. Man, it really puts a lot of pressure on your offense.
66-35. Now that count updated to this point with 5:19 to go in the 4th quarter. So they've had it almost twice as long as Stamford has. Again, the clock becoming a factor. 5:19 to go in the 4th quarter. Second down coming here near midfield.
The Bulldogs have 1 timeout left when they burned 1 earlier on 4th down.
Handoff goes to Coleman. He will gut his way down to the 45. 3 on the play. Tackle made by Gabriel Carrion, the nose guard.
Boy, Nathan Schneider just doing yeoman-like work down in the trenches.
Another 3rd down here. Shiner on 3rd down tries in the game. Fairly effective, up over 50% at 7 of 13. But here they need to get down to the 38-yard line. Play fake Stafford. 3 Bulldogs there to meet him as they'll stop him at the 42. This is going to be another 4th down opportunity. We've seen it now in 3 straight sets of downs. As we look at 4th downs on this drive, conversion by Stafford.
Repeat yourself.
Another conversion by Stafford.
You bet.
And it brings us to where we are now.
Yeah, Chuck, I tell you what about that, though, is that those are 4th and 1 or 4th and shorter than 1. This is 4th and a healthy 3.5 yards.
Big play here. Deep handoff. Coleman struggling. He's not going to get there as the Stamford defense rises up at the 40-yard line and forces the ball over on downs.
He didn't make the tackle, but Gabriel Carrion is the first guy to get to Marcus Coleman. Hits him up high, slows him down just a little bit. The rest of that Bulldogs defense. Take a look here at number 75.
Yeah, he beat the block, and he was in the backfield right away, and that slowed up Coleman and allowed the posse to get in and help make the tackle. So now Stamford has a chance with 3:51 and 1 timeout, needing 60 yards to potentially get in position to tie this game, and they're going to air it out. And they've got the catch. It's Washington. It's a touchdown. 60 yards from Bo Wimberly to James Washington, just like on the first offensive play of the ball game. And it's a 1-point contest.
James Washington, instead of running on the outside, as he did on that first touchdown grab, first play of the game, decides to run the post on the inside. And this is clearly a play where Bo Wimberly is going to heave the ball as high and as far as he can and let Washington run underneath it. He has great speed, and he did so.
Well, this is a huge point after by who else? James Washington. Ball on the tee. The kick is up, and it is good. And we are locked up. One play, 60 yards, took 9 seconds. That was identical to that first offensive play of the game for Stamford. Let's take it to break. 3:42 left. We've got a brand new game, 28 apiece here in Arlington.
And what would this pretty little girl like for Christmas?
I'm thinking the Ford Fusion.
Oh. The what?
I need a car that's stylish and fashionable, especially in my line of work.
Now, do you have a little lemonade stand?
Guys, I'm in fashion. But I also need amazing tech, too, like Active Park Assist. It practically parks itself.
And what color would you like?
I'll have my assistant send you over some swatches.
Oh.
Now drive a new Ford Fusion for only $199 a month during the Dream Big sales event going on now at your Best in Texas Ford dealer.
State Farm, this is Jessica.
Hey, Jessica, it's Jerry Newman.
Jerry, how are you doing?
Fine, I just got a little fender bender. You know, it's funny, it only took 15 minutes to sign up with that new auto insurance company, but it's taken a lot longer to hear back.
Oh, Jerry, I'm so sorry.
I would love to help, but remember you dropped us last month.
I miss you, Jessica.
Jerry, are you crying?
No, I bit my tongue.
Call your local State Farm agent or visit us at texas.statefarm.com.
Get to a better state. State Farm.
Ever notice when Texans get the hankering for something hot, fresh, and delicious, they end up at DQ? It's because only DQ has the best tasting burgers, baskets, sandwiches, and salads in the state. From 100% pure American beef and all-white chicken to fresh veggies and all your favorite toppings. No matter what you order at DQ, you know it's gonna be great. DQ just tastes better. DQ, that's what I like about Texas.
A brand new ball game here in the Class 1A Division I State Championship as Stamford has gotten up off the deck with 3 unanswered touchdowns to tie Shiner 28-28 with 3:42 remaining. James Washington with a 60-yard touchdown reception. That's his second TD catch of the day. I shorted him 3 yards on that first catch that came on the first offensive play of the game. That one actually went 63. So a 63 and a 60-yard touchdown pass from Wimberly to Washington as Washington puts the foot into it. Thrown it inside the 20 by Egan. Get it out to the 30-yard line. And the 31 is where Shiner will start this possession. 3:35 to go.
Injured player for the Bulldogs now. I think that's number 10.
Let's take a look. Michael Gonzalez.
Michael Gonzalez, yep.
Whoa, okay, so that's someone that Stamford has at a backup linebacker position. Gonzalez, a junior, so taking a look at him. So 3:35 to go here in the fourth quarter. You know, you never want to see a player injured, particularly not at this particular level of the game, but what it's doing, it's allowing both teams to get a little bit of a breather at this point.
We'll take a look at all the Bulldogs. Everyone there's about 15 or 16 of them on the field, and all the guys on the sidelines are all down on their right knee. A little show of unity.
Yep. A little show of unity and sportsmanship. But again, the point to be made is these fellas have given it their all for 44 minutes and 25 seconds. And now as Gonzalez is out to his feet, looks like he's going to need a little bit of assistance to get to the sidelines. Well, a good crowd here for the first game today. Not putting any pressure on that right ankle at all.
Two great communities, Jeff. You've been talking about a little bit in the broadcast, but the Shiner community, Stamford community is, you know, kind of salt of the earth people, and just good folks all the way around, and very supportive of their teams.
That's what I took from my visit with a couple of townspeople from each side, and just the, you know, there's something about the rural aspect. I mean, you and I live in major cities, and we see big 5A football, and that's great. It's a great game that they play, but this right here, something special about it.
There's no doubt about it. It is special, and it's hard to get more true to the sport, if you will. Certainly how you see these two teams conducting themselves today.
Well, for the 31, Shiner is set to go to work. Now, remember, they don't have a full couple in the time of the clock with 3:35 remaining here in the fourth quarter. So we'll see their approach. They have receivers to either side. And Coleman fumbled the football, and Stamford has recovered at the 43. That's Gus West that got it. Oh, a big turnover by Shiner.
Marcus Coleman, Chuck, has just been a warrior all day, and as he runs around, the play gets extended out wide. Tries to cut it back up in the middle, and he just gets like that glancing blow on the ball. He was looking back to the inside. Gus West alertly falls on it for the Bulldogs.
Craig Oliver was the one that got a piece of his arm and caused that ball to pop free. So now Stamford with it at the 43. Near sideline, a gain of about 7.5, 8 yards to Legan West, the sophomore. Stopped by Claisel.
That's the jersey. He's wearing that jersey for Zay.
Indeed, number 8 worn by the injured Zay Smith. Leading his team on down the Stamford sidelines. Here's the snap. Pass left sideline complete with a move inside the 25. Goes James Washington. He's down to the 23. It'll be a gain of 13 yards. And a Stamford first down.
Instead of going deep like Washington has done on that formation, he runs an out route. It's only about 6 yards, and he's just out there all alone. Once he catches the ball from Wimberly, does a nice little move inside, picks up the first down.
Wimberly rolling with room. Oh, brought down a shirt tackle. Dropped him after a gain of 7 as Stafford was the one that reached out and brought him down. Now with 2:30 and the clock running here in the fourth quarter, one thing we should point out, the kicking game isn't one of the true strengths of either team. Not to say a field goal is out of the question.
No, but it's certainly much more difficult. James Washington is the kicker for Stamford. Saw it straight away, so generally they're not going to be very proficient from too far out.
That's West, and he's going to be hit inside the 15, but he gets the first down and a gain of 4 down around the 12-yard line, stopping the clock with 2:03 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Another sophomore receiver for this Bulldog offense coming up big here in the second half of this game. Saw earlier Wes Hutchinson making some big plays. Legan West, also a sophomore.
Timeout called by Shiner with 2:03 left to go in the fourth quarter. And again, the resilience that we have seen from the Stamford Bulldogs, as it's really been epitomized here in the second half by their quarterback and safety, Bo Wimberly, as he's done a heck of a job here today.
Well, he really has been fantastic, and again, just kind of taking over and making big plays. I thought after he picked up that first down, he was just going to kind of ease on out of bounds, but he cuts it back, and look at the physical punishing tackle. He continues to deliver, and then heaving the bomb out. 60-yard pass play to his favorite wide receiver, James Washington. And he knows it's a big deal.
And remember, in the first half, Shea, he left the field at one point with what appeared to be a jammed left shoulder, not his throwing shoulder, but he came right back out the next time he was needed on offense, and it doesn't seem as if he's missed a beat.
So we can talk about James Washington again having a big second half here against New Deal. The game that they won 29-23. He scored 3 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion. He was 3 of 3 on his extra points.
So Wimberly set to call first down and 10 here from the 12-yard line. Rolling, keeping, and into the end zone. Touchdown. 12 yards on the run for Bo Wimberly. And Stamford now has a 6-point lead.
That was great coverage by the Comanche defense. Strung the play out beautifully. Bo Wimberly, very late in the play, decides to run the ball because he had nowhere to go to throw it to. No one to throw it to. Nobody open. He knows he's going to take a shot as he goes into the end zone. You can see he's checking his face right now, but he took a shot from Chad Neubauer.
5 plays, 43 yards the drive, taking a minute and 32 seconds. Washington, and the PAT is blocked. And it can be returned, although it'll be scooped up in the end zone, and that'll be the end of that play. So it is a 6-point difference as Chad Neubauer is the one who got credit for blocking that kick. And 34-28. Stamford now with the lead. Boy, look at Wimberly. Again, playing in memory of his father, Gary, who we lost earlier this year to cancer. And you know what kind of day this has to be for him, emotionally, physically, everything wrapped together.
But it was really good to hear Hagan Hutchinson, the star quarterback from last year, talk so highly of him.
Well, that touchdown just a moment ago, our DQ big play of the game.
There you go, Wimberly. Nobody's going to be open, Chuck. Nothing to do with the ball except decide to tuck it and run. And watch you right here. He's going to take a big shot as he goes into the end zone. Knows he's going to get hit, lowers the shoulders, sails out.
Neubauer. Yep, he got a shot on him.
Yep. So he's got a little blood on there. I think he's all right with that.
That's a football player right there, friends. Well, 1:55 remaining. And you know that Shiner is not an offense built on moving the ball down the field in a hurry. So that brings the one problem. The other, they have only one timeout left.
Well, you see Marcus Coleman going back to return the kick as he kind of is the home run hitter for him. But last series for the Comanches, it's the first time that I believe today that we saw 2 wide receivers. Generally, you see one, and everybody else is near at the line of scrimmage around the ball. But last possession, they had 2. So Coach Sheridan's going to have to dial up a little bit of magic here.
Well, Jacob Stafford coming into this game was just 24 of 56 for 504 yards and 6 touchdowns. But he's probably going to need to go upstairs in this last drive. Shiner needs a big kickoff return.
And Neubauer fighting his way almost to the 30.
Yep. Well, it sets him up 70 yards away with a minute 48 remaining. Bo Wimberly, 16 of 30 today, 252 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he also has rushed for 115 yards, but now it's his counterpart, Jacob Stafford, who is set to go to work. Stafford has thrown only 3 passes today, completed 1 for the 9-yard touchdown. Stafford has run for 120 yards. His backfield mate Coleman, playing injured, 172 yards. Each of those with a touchdown. Here's the lefty. Little hook and lateral. And with the running room and a first down across the 40-yard line out to the 42, as Mahalik was the one that caught that pass, and Blake Mahalik tossed it to Tyler Patek. He gets out to the 40, and they'll move the chains.
I love the play call. Well executed.
Clock continuing to unravel. Under a minute and a half remaining. Southpaw ready, throws deep. Overthrows everyone, incomplete. He was looking for Caleb Collett, but he had a whole lot of company down there. Wimberly, the free safety, back in the coverage. Well, this is the first of 10 state championship games this weekend. And I don't know what's coming in the next 9, Shay, but we're going to be hard-pressed to match the excitement we've had here in this one.
Yeah, what a way to get this thing started, huh?
Yep. Kicked off shortly after 10 o'clock. Little breakfast ball. It's moved into the lunch hour and beyond. There's the quarterback, Stamford, with a burst. Gets extra yardage out near the 50. He's going to be close to the first down. May give him 10, depending on if he moves the chains, and I believe they did. Indeed, first down at the 50-yard line. How about Stafford? How about that line as they push 3 Bulldog tacklers down the field? 1:15 in the clock running.
Well, it looks like he was going nowhere and ends up picking up 10 yards. Outstanding play.
Stafford looking for Coleman. It's deflected. Almost intercepted by Washington.
You have got to be kidding me.
That would have been the ball game.
Tip drill to yourself?
Yep.
Very athletic play there by James Washington. Took another look at it, trying to find Marcus Coleman. Look how high Washington is. Wow. That left hand, watch a little tip drill. He's giving himself another chance. Just off the fingertips.
Oh,
what
so
an
close.
Incredibly athletic play.
So Shiner, it was the Cat, just used one of its 5s. Second down and 10. .104 remaining. And this time it is intercepted. Washington comes up with it. Still on his feet.
He'll find a place to go down soon, I think.
Well, maybe in the end zone. Let's wait and see.
Yes,
and there he goes. Oh, my heavens. 76 yards on the interception return. He had great blocking along the way, but that may seal it up as James Washington, the senior. And there's also a marker down we see now on the play, so let's hold on a moment. I do believe this would be post-possession, but maybe an illegal block on the way down the field. We'll wait for the official call.
I like when the officiating crew gets together and says, the first question, what did you see? No, what did you see? Hey, I asked you first. But it's really good that they do it that way so they can make the right call.
There's no foul on the play. Touchdown.
Wow. Well, that return of 76 yards for James Washington, who has caught 2 passes for touchdowns and now an interception for another. Oh, and what a block in the middle of the field by Joey Aguilar. That was a deke leader, officially a 77-yard return.
Trying to get the ball down to Caleb Collick.
What's this block?
Yeah, it's going to come just a little bit further downfield, right about here.
Oh, it's just right there, just off the screen, but my heavens. And now Washington missed his last time. Going to try to make this one a 13-point game. Little toe punch kick. It's good. And Stamford now with a 41-28 lead. The folks out in Jones County are smelling a state championship. Hard to believe they trailed in this one 28-7. That was early in the third quarter, but slowly, surely, methodically, they got back into the ball game. And once it was evened up, you really could tell, Shay, the momentum had changed. And really by nothing that Shiner did. Shiner continued to run its offense and continued to do things, but you know, one key turnover in there, but Stamford just took advantage and took control of this one.
Turnover battle, it's about equal in this game. You have the interception by Bo Wimberly. Patek picked him off in the end zone. I believe the only other turnover was the one on the last Shiner drive, but even in that department, but Chuck, here's the thing. When you have 2 one-play scoring drives, and then you get the interception return, a defensive score, you can get back into the game really quickly.
Absolutely. Well, Stamford smelling it right now. They fell just short back in 2011, losing the championship game to Mason 62-40 last year. Won the title here at Arlington. capping a 14-1 year by defeating Mark 35-28. This season dispatching Heiko in the state semifinals to make it the championship game here against Shiner. And right now, they are just 43 seconds away from pulling another state championship into their school's rich history. Back in the 50s, they actually won 4 state championships, had to give one up due to an ineligible player. It's an interesting story in itself. That was back in the Gordon Wood days. He was actually there in 55 and 56, a pair of undefeated seasons. Then 57, they went 9-2, and then Gordon Wood moved on, and they won 2 more state championships afterwards. They had to get one of those away. It's the kickoff to Neubauer, brought back out beyond the 32-yard line.
Well, that was John Lewis Dyer on the kick. But how about this for James Washington, Chuck? I mean, he has just had an outstanding day. It was what you would expect from one of your marquee players, but those 2 touchdowns were big. 63 on the first play of the game, and then the 60-yarder in the second half. 5 PATs, and then that long interception return for a touchdown. Just a valuable player. You know, here's the thing. You said Oklahoma State earlier. Coach said that's really where he's leaning, but he's also getting inquiries from a lot of other guys. TCU, Texas, a lot of guys, a lot of colleges are after this guy.
There's a pass to the left side caught by Mahalitz, and he will get beyond the 45 where he's bumped out of bounds. It's a 14-yard gain. Yes, West was the one that bumped him out. You mentioned those teams in the Big 12 Conference. Now remember, with Stamford being just north of Abilene, it's not too far from Lubbock. I would think that they would probably be casting a glance over that way as well.
I'm sure Coach Kingsbury is doing just that, trying to
all's fair until signing day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know you're committed, but can we talk?
Verbal's verbal until you sign.
First down and 10 from the 45. Here's Mahalitz. Blake Mahalitz splits the defense, gets inside the 40, bumped out of bounds, 16-yard gain. Down around the 39-yard line. Eric Sanchez on the tackle. Clock down to 23 seconds remaining.
Well, with a 13-point lead, you can tell that this Bulldog defense very content to let plays happen in front of them, just not going to give up anything deep. Bo Wimberly out on the field, quarterback in the defense from that free safety spot.
We saw Wayne Hutchison, the coach. The pass over on the left side, going to be picked off here, intercepted by West, and he'll go down to a knee because that's going to do it. One more snap of the football, and the Stamford Bulldogs are going to be crowned state champions.
What a heads-up play there by Gus West. After he makes the pick, Early kneels down, and then this becomes the head coach's favorite formation.
Well, the other thing is, we talked about all the guys playing both ways. Gus probably pretty tired right there, so this one's over.
Good point.
Get to a knee. Boy, they've given it their all. Both these teams, Stamford and Shiner. This has been a very entertaining final. The victory formation. Bo Wimberly goes to a knee, and let the celebration begin. Stamford Bulldogs heading out onto the field. Fans celebrating here at AT&T Stadium. Head coach Wayne Hutchison congratulating some of his players. And there's Bo Wimberly.
Well, Chuck, you said this a while ago, but what an outstanding game by both of these teams. I mean, doing exactly, you could see how you get a team into the state finals. I mean, these are well coached, but both teams played outstanding.
State champions of Class 1A Division I, the Stamford Bulldogs, as they won it today by a final score of 41-28. For those that made the trip, and there's a lot of people down below us in blue and white, they're celebrating in the stands right now. And of course, congratulations in order to Stamford and to Shiner.
You got to think right now for Wimberly, like you talked about his relationship with his dad and kind of wearing that badge all season and being able to close it off in a dominating fashion has to feel really good.
Well, the handshakes at midfield, and again, you do this throughout the season. That's one of the great things about high school football, you always have the sportsmanship at the end of the game, but you got to think right here there's a little bit more. And you've been a warrior throughout an entire season, and you duke it out as these teams have here in a state final. A little bit more with those handshakes and pats on the back. Boy, there's going to be a celebration in Stamford tonight. Let's take it down to the field where Angela is with the winning head coach of the Stamford Bulldogs, Wayne Hutchinson.
That's right, Coach. You just said it. That was awesome. Your team was down 28-7 after Shiner came out and scored early in the third quarter. How did they come back?
That's been the story of these guys all year long. You know, they've got a great attitude. They've got a lot of heart, and they'll fight you till the end. And that's just us.
Your motto is reload and repeat. You've been talking about that all season, and that's what you guys did tonight. You repeated as state champions. How good does that feel?
Oh, it's an awesome feeling. It's like I told our guys, first day of two-a-days. We came in the dressing room and said, we've got the nucleus in here to be state champions again, if you believe it. And we put all of our stuff on the wall, even had pictures of rings on the wall, and we said, hey, if you want another one of these, we can go get it. All we're doing is reloading. It's up to you to repeat. And of course, they repeated today.
You have several guys that played outstanding games. Of course, Washington doing a little bit of everything, but Bo Wimberly playing injured throughout the second half of this ball game. How well did he play today?
I can't say enough about Bo. He's one of those guys that you never can count out. He's tougher in a boot. His shoulder came out, came back in. He never missed a lick. Talked to him at halftime. He said, we're going to get it done the second half, Coach, and he absolutely did.
He did, Coach. Congrats on another state championship back-to-back years.
Thank you.
Guys, back up to you.
Thank you, Angela. Congratulations to head coach Wayne Hutchinson and all of those with the Stamford community. As mentioned, congrats to Shiner as well. A great season there. Let's take a look at some of the second half highlights as we will head toward our Ford Player of the Game. It's going to be Bo Wimberly.
Well, no surprise there, huh?
Nope. 16 of 30, 252 yards. A couple of touchdowns. Did have one pick, but 3 rushing touchdowns for Mr. Wimberly. As we take a look at some of the things that he did today on the field, particularly here in the second half.
Well,
Stamford took charge.
In the second half, Chuck, he was absolute money. Just doing all the great things that you'd expect him to do, that he expects of himself, and the toughness on defense. Love the way that he played all game. He came up with some huge tackles, had to make key throws, key plays for this offense. Finds James Washington there for a score. And then how about this run to seal it? Talking about low of the head as he goes into the end zone. He knows he's going to get blasted. Lowers the shoulder, goes in anyway, sails out, punches it in for the go-ahead score in the fourth quarter.
Angela's down on the field right now alongside the man we're talking about, Bo Wimberly.
That's right, Bo. Congrats on the state championship win. You are a player of the game. Just talk to me about what you're feeling right now, coming back after being down 28-7.
Oh, it's unreal. It's a great experience, and it just shows how good of a team that if we get down, that we have a great team to pick us back up, and it's just humbling, and it just shows how good of the athletes and how much heart they have while they're playing. So it's unreal.
And I know that Hagen Hutchinson, who obviously was the star of last year's state championship game, talked to you a lot throughout the season, and he talked to you before this ball game. What did it mean to have him as a mentor throughout the season?
Playing behind him last year was probably the best experience you can get. Just watching him, it's better than reps, and he's just a great individual, and he's going to be my longtime friend. So it's humbling that I got to play behind him too.
I know that you hurt your left shoulder earlier in the game in the first half. How is your shoulder feeling, and how were you able to play through that?
I fell on it and it came out during the first, but it popped back in, so we didn't have to do much to it. And I got some ibuprofen and we were ready to roll. I was rolling more on adrenaline, so I guess I didn't really think about it until now.
And I know that you're playing this season for your dad, that this is a special season for you, playing with purpose. Just talk to me a little bit about that and what it was like playing for your dad.
Yes, ma'am. I lost my dad after my 17th birthday last spring, and it's a good drive for the year. So it's one of those that it was for him. So that's all. It's a real emotional part of my life.
I know it is. Well, congrats. I know you're the player of the game.
Well, the trophy ceremony about to take place. He had to take the player of the game out onto the field. And Shea Walker again, 41-28. Stamford winning this game. Taking a look at some of the final numbers. As far as the total yardage, Shiner actually had 426 yards to 366 for Stamford. They had 25 first downs compared to 13 for the Bulldogs. And time of possession, 37 minutes to 10.5 minutes. It looked like statistically Shiner won this game, but au contraire.
Well, they played extremely well, did the Comanches, and they really, even though they're disappointed now, they really have nothing to hang their head about, because I can tell you, they were a very good football team, well coached, and you just come back to it in those, and I go back to the 2 one-play scoring drives. That really, when you look at the play and the difference in the yardage and all those types of things, you can score in one play. That's a big help. That's like a one putt in golf. I mean, it just pays big dividends, and Stamford was able to come up with a few more big plays in today's game.
Well, and how about some kudos to Shiner, because that team, we heard about how gritty and how tough they were, and we saw it. And even now, as you look at Coach Wayne Cherney, and obviously disappointment on his face, disappointment with the team, but again, it's a perennial contender for a state champion.
You bet. Started the season at 5-3, and they find themselves in the state championship game and playing extremely well. I mean, that says a lot about your team right there.
Well, with the victory, as we mentioned, Stamford with back-to-back state championships. And again, they won titles in 1955, 56, 58, won in 59, had to give that one away. But again, the wins here in 2012 and 2013, and the celebration down below. And man, I tell you what, the big thing that goes on in that two-stoplight town that we talked about out in Jones County, that Texas Cowboy reunion, there's going to be a Bulldog reunion that's going to be going on as a celebration.
I'm definitely going for that.
Yeah, that's going to be the one.
You finally got the hook on me.
There's the runner-up trophy provided down to the Shiner Comanches, and a lot of congratulations in order there. And here is the state championship trophy. It's going to be awarded to Coach Wayne Hutchison and the Stamford Bulldogs. What a big win today.
Well, it definitely was a team effort. Played well, didn't get down when they were behind. Just kept digging and scratching and clawing, and came up with some really big plays. And yeah, that's how you win a state title.
Final score, Stamford 41 and Shiner 28. Coming up next, our nonstop UIL championship coverage continues on Ford Championship Live with Rick Renner and Randy Rogers, and that will be followed by a championship triple header. The UIL 1A Division II championship between Wellington and Falls City. That's approximately 1:30 now. Then at approximately 5 o'clock, it's the 2A Division I final between Wall and Cameron Yo. Then closing the day off at approximately 8, Cisco and Refugio. For Shea Walker and Angela Heyman and the entire Fox Sports Southwest crew.